so since today is in the middle of the 3 weeks, we're going to learn the halacha of Hilchos Beis HaBechira. The Rebbe's Hirah that in 3 weeks you should learn the halacha from Hilchos Beis HaBechira or about the Beis HaMikdash. So that is what we're going to learn today. So I was thinking what we should learn, Virginian, so much to learn about Beis HaBechira. So I figured we'll start with building the Beis HaMikdash. There's the famous machlokes, La'asid Lavai, who's going to build the Beis HaMikdash? Is it going to come down in Hashemayim? It's going to be built in Hashemayim, or is it going to be built over here Lamata? Moshiach is going to build the Beis HaMikdash. So what does the Rambam paskin? In Hilchos Melech HaMashiach, and Hilchos Malachim, the Rambam paskins that Moshiach is going to build the Beis HaMikdash. One of the simonim of Moshiach being is Bein HaMikdash B'Mekayma, he's going to build the Beis HaMikdash. So does that mean that Moshiach himself is going to build the entire Beis HaMikdash? It's impossible. It's a massive structure. All the details and the whole. Impossible. Moshiach himself is going to build the Beis HaMikdash. So what's Pshat? What does it mean? Moshiach is going to lead the effort of building the Beis HaMikdash, but all the Yidden are going to participate in building the Beis HaMikdash here below. Similar to what it says regarding the first Beis HaMikdash. The pasuk says that Shlomo HaMelech built the first Beis HaMikdash. Did Shlomo HaMelech in fact build the whole first Beis HaMikdash himself? Of course not. There was many Yidden that were involved in building it. But it's called Al Shem Shlomo, that he is the one that built the Beis HaMikdash. So I think it's appropriate for us to learn, L'chol Hareish, we believe and hope and daven every moment that Mashiach will come. And the first thing we'll have to do is build the Beis HaMikdash. So we have to know the halachas of how to build the Beis HaMikdash. And the first thing over here is, when you get to building the Beis HaMikdash, is the kavanah that you have to have when you build the Beis HaMikdash. There's going to be those, I'm sure there's going to be those contractors or those builders that, just like in the Mishkan, there was Betzalel and Aliyov and those Yidden that were Chachmei Lev, that were able to, they were able to build the Beis HaMikdash with the talent they had to build the Beis HaMikdash. And then there's the Pshutei Yam, the simple people that are going to do the malachas, that not the big sophisticated work. So I'm assuming the majority of Klal Yisrael is not going to be involved in the design of the Beis HaMikdash, all the details that the Rambam talks about in Hilchos Beis HaBechira or talks about in the Navi of Yecheskel. Most Yidden that will participate in building the Beis HaMikdash will possibly be putting the bricks together and doing certain simple work that has to be done. So all the halachas that are negayat to Hilchos Beis HaMikdash not necessarily is negayat to every individual b'poil when it's going to come the time to build it. But the halacha of Lishma, whoever is going to participate in building the Beis HaMikdash, in whatever aspect it is, in the most sophisticated to the most simple task, there's a din of building it Lishma, which is negayat for everybody to know. So let's learn this halacha. It's right over here in the Rambam. The last halacha in Perek Aleph of Hilchos Beis HaBechira. Sagt der Rambam, ein oisen kol hakelim mitchilasan elo l'shem hakodesh. When you build the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash, they all have to be built l'shem hakodesh, for the sake of the kodesh of the Mishkan. So the Rambam, interestingly, is talking about the kelim. So there's building the Beis HaMikdash, the structure of the Beis HaMikdash, and then there's the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash. So here the Rambam is telling you that the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash have to all be built with a kavanah, with the intention that it's l'shem hakodesh. Then the Rambam adds, V'im naso mitchilosan lehedyet. If when you built this keli, it was made originally for a purpose of a use for a hedyet, for a mundane use, ein oisen legavaya. You can't anymore use it for gavaya, for the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, so let's stop right over here. So let's understand exactly what the Rambam is talking about when the Rambam says that the kelim have to be built l'shem hakodesh. What's exactly the pshat of this din? What exactly is the kavanah that you have to have, l'shem hakodesh? Is it just enough to have these two words? This is the kavanah. I'm building the kelim l'shem hakodesh. That's it? Not so pashut. It's not so pashut. So let's start from the most lenient opinion and the way to explain what the Rambam says, and we'll work up to the most stringent opinion of what the l'shem hakodesh means. It's not spelled out clearly in the lashon of the Rambam. For example, let's compare it to another mitzvah. There's many mitzvahs that have to be done l'shma when you're baking matzahs. So you also have to bake it l'shem mitzvahs matzah. That's it. It's not more complicated than that. L'shem the mitzvah of matzah. But over here, this l'shem hakodesh is a little bit more complicated than that. So if you look in the Mefarshim, so first of all, there's a tshuva sefer by the name of Shav HaKoyen, which was written already from, it was a Rav in Germany. It was a sefer that was printed in Bismane of the Alter Rebbe, and it was a very big goin, and he discusses this halach in the Rambam here. And he actually learns that the pshat in this Rambam is that not that you have an obligation to have a kavana l'shem HaKodesh when you make the kelim of the Beis HaMikdash, build the Beis HaMikdash. Rather, what the Rambam means is, as long as you don't have a kavanah that you're building it for your own private mundane use, it's fine. If you start making a keli and you're not having any kavanah whatsoever, making a keli, person could be making a keli and let's say with the intention that it could be sold to somebody, and the person that will buy it will decide what he wants to use it with. So the guy that made the keli didn't have any specific kavanah at all. Stop making a keli. So he says it's fine. The Rambam does not mean to say that you have to actually make it l'shem kodesh. As long as it's not made l'shem hedyet for mundane use, it's good enough. What's his raya? So his raya is two things. First of all, there's different opinions regarding the source of this Rambam. Where did the Rambam take this halacha from? All kinds of opinions. So he brings from a Yerushalmi where there's a machlokes over there regarding actually a similar Indian of when you're making something for a mitzvah, which is over there, the Yerushalmi is talking about tefillin. What happens if you have hide that's turned into the parchment for tefillin? And it was l'chatchila made into the parchment not to be used for tefillin, but to be used for a kameya, for a hedyet use, for private hedyet, the mundane use. Could you then go and use that parchment for tefillin? So it's a machlokes in the Yerushalmi. The Tanakama holds that once it's made for a kameya, you can't use it anymore for tefillin. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel holds even after it was made for a kameya, you can take it and use it for tefillin. So he says, if you look over here in the source of this machlokes, what are they talking about? It's talking about something that was made for a kameya, made for a private use. Then there's an argument if you can take it and use it for tefillin. But it's not talking about a case where a person was taking the hide of a behemoth and working it out to make it into parchment. That's not what the Yerushalmi was talking about. In such a case, it doesn't seem like there's any machlokes at all. Then he says also, take a look into the lashon of the Rambam here. So true, the Rambam Taka at the beginning does say, Ein oisim kol hakelim v'tchilasam elo l'shem hakodesh, that you have to make the kelim l'shem hakodesh. But yeah, it's a pretty strong lashon. It's the only way it's going to be fit for use. But then the Rambam continues, V'im nasu mitchilasan lehedyet. If it was made for a hedyet, then you can't use it for gavaya for the Beis HaMikdash. So he says the conclusion of the Rambam is mashma that the issue only will be if you make it for a hedyet. The Rambam should have concluded v'im nasu shaloi l'shem hakodesh, then you can't use it for gavaya. He doesn't say if it was made shaloi l'shem hakodesh, as if it was made lahedyet. So the Rambam is clarifying that the issue is only if it's made l'shem hedyet, not if it's made stam. In other words, you read this Rambam, you have this in the Gemara many times. You can be medayik from the beginning of the Rambam one way, and from the continuation of the Rambam another way. It's like kashi reisha l'sefer. In the beginning of the Rambam it says, it has to be l'shem hakodesh. It's mashma if it's made stam, it's not good enough. It has to be specifically made l'shem hakodesh. At the end of the Rambam it's mashma that the issue is only if it's made specifically l'shem hedyet. But if it's made without any kavanah, then it's fine. So how are you going to taish this Rambam? So this Sefer, the Shav HaKoyen, he interprets this Rambam based on the source. He says it's mustaver to say that the Rambam is telling you that as long as it's not made l'shem hedyet, you can build the Beis HaMikdash stam without any kavana, and the kelim are good to be used for the Beis HaMikdash.